You are living in the most wealth-friendly environment in human history. Not the most equal, not the most fair, not the most stable, but the most opportunity-dense, the most tool-rich, the most accessible. The gap between having nothing and building something real has never been smaller in the entire recorded history of human economic activity. And most people are completely missing it. Not because they are lazy, not because they are unintelligent, because they are measuring today's opportunity with yesterday's framework. They are looking for the factory job that is not coming back, the pension that no longer exists, the single employer who will take care of them for 40 years in exchange for loyalty and time. That world is gone. And the world that replaced it is more interesting and more accessible than anything that came before it, if you understand what you are actually looking at. This video is that understanding.
The old world was different. To understand why now is different, you have to understand what before looked like. 100 years ago, becoming wealthy required one of three things. You were born into it. You built a physical business that required land, equipment, inventory, and employees, all of which required capital you almost certainly did not have. Or you got extraordinarily lucky in a system that was structurally designed to keep capital concentrated at the top. The barriers were physical. The costs were real. You could not start a business from your bedroom because the bedroom had no connection to any market. You could not reach a customer in another country because reaching them required infrastructure you could not afford. You could not build a product and sell it globally from a laptop because laptops did not exist, and global distribution required relationships and logistics that took decades to develop. The playing field was not level. It was not close to level. The people with capital used capital to generate more capital. The people without it stayed without it. And the distance between those two groups was not a gap you could close by working harder or being smarter. It was a structural wall built from access and geography and inherited advantage. That wall is not entirely gone, but it has more holes in it than at any point in history. And the holes are large enough to walk through if you know where to look. What changed? The internet did not just change communication. It eliminated the geographic requirement for economic participation. Before the internet, your market was your location. If you lived in a small town in the middle of nowhere, your potential customers were the people within driving distance. Your competition was the businesses within the same radius. Your ceiling was set by the size of the market you could physically access. The internet removed the ceiling. Your market is now every person on Earth with a connection and a need you can meet. That is not an abstraction. That is a literal operational reality that did not exist 30 years ago, and that fundamentally changes the mathematics of starting something. A business that would have needed a storefront, inventory, staff, and a local marketing budget can now be started for the cost of a domain name and a few software subscriptions. The infrastructure that previously cost hundreds of thousands of dollars has been replaced by tools that cost hundreds per year, and in many cases, nothing at all. This is not a small shift. This is the single largest reduction in the cost of starting a business in the history of commerce, and it happened in less than 30 years.
The knowledge barrier is gone. In 1990, if you wanted to learn how to build a business, you had two options. You went to business school, which cost tens of thousands of dollars and took years. Or you found a mentor who already knew what you needed to know, which required access to people in the right rooms that most people did not have. The knowledge was gated. It lived behind institutional walls and personal networks and geographic proximity to places where the right conversations were happening. Today, every framework that was taught in the most expensive MBA programs in the world is available for free on YouTube. Every skill that previously required years of formal education, coding, design, marketing, financial modeling, copywriting, sales, has a free tutorial that will take you from zero to competent in months rather than years. The person who built a 7-figure business in 2010 could not have done it without connections or capital or credentials that most people lacked. The person building that same business today can learn everything they need from their phone during their lunch break and apply it the same evening from their kitchen table. The knowledge barrier is gone. Not reduced, gone. And with it, the excuse that you did not have access to what you needed to know.
The audience is already there. Every generation before yours had to build an audience from scratch if they wanted to sell something to the world. A writer in 1970 who wanted to reach readers had to convince a publisher, which required an agent, which required a manuscript good enough to survive a process that rejected the vast majority of what it received, which required years of attempting that process before any result was produced. If the publisher said no, the writer had no direct path to the reader. A musician in 1985 who wanted to reach listeners had to convince a record label. Same gatekeeping structure, same years of rejection, same dependence on institutional approval before any direct relationship with an audience was possible. A designer in 1995 who wanted to reach clients had to build a local reputation through word of mouth over years before any scale was achievable. Every creator, every entrepreneur, every person with something to offer had to go through a gatekeeper before they could reach the people who might value what they had. The gatekeeper decided who got access to the audience. The audience was not directly reachable. Today, the audience is directly reachable by anyone. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Substack, every platform is a direct line from creator to audience with no gatekeeper in the middle. The algorithm decides who gets seen based on the quality and resonance of what they produce, not on who they know or what institution they belong to or what city they live in. This is unprecedented. A person in Lagos can build an audience in New York. A person in rural Kentucky can build a following in London. A person with no connections, no credentials, and no starting capital can build an audience of 100,000 people who trust them and value what they produce, and who represent a market for whatever that person eventually decides to offer. The audience is the asset, and for the first time in history, building it does not require permission from anyone. The tools are available to everyone. 30 years ago, the tools required to build a business were expensive, scarce, and specialized. Graphic design required software that cost thousands of dollars to use effectively. Video production required cameras, lighting, editing equipment, and a team. Accounting required an accountant. Legal required a lawyer. Distribution required relationships with distributors. Payment processing required a merchant account that banks would not give you unless you already had a business that was already functioning. Every tool in the business stack had a cost and a complexity that filtered out the people without capital or connections before they could even begin. Today, the same tools are available to anyone with a phone and an internet connection. Canva replaced the graphic design studio. iMovie and CapCut replaced the video production team. Shopify and Gumroad replaced the distribution network. Stripe replaced the merchant account. QuickBooks and Wave replaced the accountant for basic bookkeeping. ChatGPT and Claude replaced the first draft of almost everything. Notion replaced the project management software that cost enterprise budgets to license. The tool stack that would have cost a small business hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to assemble 30 years ago now costs under $500 per year to access. And most of the individual tools have free tiers that are sufficient for the early stages of building. The tools are not just cheaper, they are better, and they are in your pocket right now. The business models that did not exist. The opportunity is not just that existing paths are more accessible, it is that entirely new paths to wealth have been created that did not exist at any point in history before the last 20 years. The creator economy did not exist before YouTube monetization launched in 2007. Before that year, there was no mechanism by which an individual could build an audience online and earn income from that audience at scale. The entire category of creator as business, YouTuber, podcaster, newsletter writer, course creator, influencer, was invented in the last 2 decades. That category now generates over $100 billion annually and is projected to double within the next 5 years. The people who built within it early are wealthy.
The people building within it now are still early relative to where it is going. The software as a service model, where a single person or small team builds a software product and sells access to it on a recurring subscription basis, created a path to wealth that previously required a full engineering team, a sales force, and venture capital to pursue. Today, a solo developer with the right skills can build a product, launch it on Product Hunt, and generate recurring revenue without a single employee or investor. The e-commerce model evolved from requiring warehousing and inventory to dropshipping to print on demand to digital products, each evolution reducing the capital requirement to near zero while preserving the income potential of a real business. The consulting and freelance economy was always accessible in theory. What changed is the reach. A consultant in 1995 could serve clients within their geographic network. A consultant today can serve clients on every continent from a laptop, can build a reputation through content that attracts clients without cold outreach, and can productize their expertise into courses or communities or templates that generate income without trading time for money at a fixed rate. These are not marginal improvements on existing models. These are entirely new categories of wealth creation that were structurally impossible before the infrastructure that enables them was built.
The capital requirement has collapsed. Starting a business used to require capital, real capital, the kind that took years to save, or required a bank loan, or required convincing an investor to take a chance on an unproven idea. The minimum viable product of 1990 was a physical thing. It had materials and manufacturing and distribution and retail costs baked in before a single customer had confirmed they wanted it. The capital at risk was real and large, and the consequence of being wrong was significant. The minimum viable product of today can be a Google form, a Notion page, a simple landing page with a payment link, a tweet that asks whether anyone would pay for a specific solution to a specific problem. You can validate demand before you build anything. You can collect payment before you deliver anything. You can build the product on the revenue from the first customers rather than on capital raised before anyone confirmed the idea was worth pursuing. This changes the risk equation of entrepreneurship fundamentally. The downside of being wrong is no longer financial ruin. It is the time you spent on something that did not work, which is painful but survivable, and educational in ways that make the next attempt better. The people who could not become entrepreneurs before were not the people without ideas. They were the people without capital to risk. That barrier has collapsed. You can start something real today for less than the cost of a dinner out. And if it does not work, you have lost an evening, not a life savings.
The compounding advantage of starting young. The generation entering the workforce right now has an advantage that no previous generation had access to. They are the first generation for whom digital tools are native, not learned, native. The friction that older generations experience when trying to build an online presence or navigate a new platform or understand how an algorithm works is not friction for the generation that grew up inside these systems. They move through the digital environment the way their parents moved through a physical one, with intuition rather than instruction. This native fluency is a significant economic advantage. The tools that will generate the most wealth in the next decade are the ones that require digital literacy to use effectively. The people who have that literacy by default are positioned better than the people who had to acquire it. Add to that the compounding mathematics of starting early. A 22-year-old who builds something small, a newsletter, a side business, a small investment portfolio, a digital product, and compounds that over decades, has a starting advantage that cannot be purchased by someone who begins the same journey at 40. Time is the input that money cannot replace, and the generation starting now has more of it than any generation that will come after them.
The one thing that still applies? None of this means it is easy. The barriers have lowered. The tools are available. The knowledge is free. The audience is reachable. The business models exist. The capital requirement has collapsed. And most people will still not build anything. Not because the opportunity is not there,
Because lowering the barrier does not remove the requirement to actually walk through it. And walking through it requires something that no tool and no platform and no algorithm can provide. It requires starting before you feel ready, continuing after the first attempt fails, building in public when everything inside you wants to wait until it is perfect, doing the unsexy work, the consistent daily output, the learning from the bad results, the iterating on what does not work until something does, that the people who succeed in any era and any environment do regardless of how convenient the tools around them are. The opportunity is real. The access is real. The tools are real. What was never guaranteed and will never be guaranteed is the willingness to use them consistently enough and for long enough to produce a result. That part has always been on you. It still is. But everything else, every structural barrier that made the decision irrelevant for generations of people who had the willingness but not the access, has been removed. You are living in the most wealth-friendly environment in human history. The question is, what you are going to do with it.